Greetings everyone, WolfinZ here, and it should be no secret that I like the Beatles. It makes me smile seeing these four guys from Liverpool doing the most mundane of things. The movie I'm most excited for this year is Peter Jackson's upcoming documentary about the making of Let It Be, the album and film that was the last piece of Beatles music released. Not produced. That honor goes to Abbey Road.
I knew someone would point that out if I didn't clarify.
I too am a Beatle nerd. The more knowledge and pointless facts I can learn about these guys, the better. I am not satisfied until I know how Paul McCartney likes his tea. Jeez, I just realized how creepy I sound. Anyways, did you know that I Love Ringo pins were the best-selling merchandise during the band's early years? Of course you did, because you love Ringo too. And if you don't have a heart.
Because I ate it.
Ringo has a sexy nose!
Now that is out of the way, Beatlemania is a topic that I have a lot of fun researching. Seeing the old merchandise and fan reactions brings a smile to my face. There is something special about this band that brings in new fans over half a century later. But, like every fandom, there is a crazy side. As you can see, there is some interesting stuff out there. One of the most interesting and hilariously morbid pieces of lore is one that has been the subject of discussion for many years. It's even been parodied by members of the band itself. That, of course, is the Paul is dead theory. Before I break down this rumor, I want to clarify that it is completely false and that Paul is okay. Let's get started, shall we? The story goes a little something like this. One day, while recording the album Revolver, Paul got frustrated with the band and stormed off. Shortly after getting in his car, he died in a horrible accident. The British government and the Beatles did not want to cause panic amongst their many fans, so they held a Paul McCartney look-alike contest. The winner, a William Shears, was trained to be an identical replacement to the original Paul, to copy his mannerisms and look and sound like him in every way. Everyone that knew Paul was forced to take a sacred oath to never tell the truth and to continue on as if nothing ever happened. The end. What crack were they smoking? I don't have to explain why this is dumb, but I'm going to anyways.
First of all, why would Paul's family agree to something so disgusting?
And keep their silence for so long. Second of all, how could you train someone to sound exactly like him in a matter of months? Third of all, why would the government get involved? Fourth of all, this is incredibly stupid. Fifth of all, any evidence supporting this is incredibly convoluted. Let me explain some of it to you. In Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the Beatles all play different characters. It's a psychedelic concept rock album about a band entertaining the troops during the First World War. Most of these characters go unnamed, except for Billy Shears, who is referenced in the opening song. Paul is dead conspiracy theorist, or Pigs as I like to call them, seem to think that William Shears is the name of the fake Paul? But after being introduced, it transitions into Ringo singing. Ringo is Billy Shears, not Paul. Nobody ever points this out, and I don't see how the name got associated with Fall to begin with.
Heh, get it? Fall as in fake Paul?
They also think since he looks slightly different in some photos that he's not the same person. Different cameras have different results. Anyone who's ever owned a smartphone before can tell you that. He's bound to look a little different in some photos, especially of all the ones that were taken during Beatlemania. By the way, did you know that Ringo practices photography in his spare time? Hobbies are nice, aren't they? People were also trying to find hidden messages in Beatles songs, but the truth is it was actually just a bunch of gibberish. John Lennon intentionally included nonsensical words to confuse scholars and music critics. All you have to do is look at I Am the Walrus for proof of this. You could say that he was the original troll. And of course, there is the infamous I Buried Paul from Strawberry Fields Forever. It was actually just John Lennon saying that he was bored. Relatable. I mean, if the Beatles did cover up Paul's death, why would they admit it in song after going through so much work? They were completely aware of this conspiracy theory, and they thought it was funny. They let it happen because it boosted record sales. It helped them bounce back after John Lennon's infamous comment, which was actually a great time for them financially because people were buying records to burn. People would play their records backward, which would mess it up, so they would have to buy another record. Double the sales! However, the fun was soured for Paul McCartney. Reporters broke on his property without his consent and refused to leave until he would do an interview, which is a disgusting invasion of privacy. But at least it was finally proven that Paul was still alive. For most people, at least. Some people still believe it and think that him not wearing shoes on the Abbey Road cover confirms it? Or maybe he just likes to go barefoot, I know I do. Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. Now that Paul is older, he openly jokes about it, just a goofy memory to him. And while it's an extremely dumb conspiracy theory, I don't think it's one with any malicious intent, and there's really no harm in believing in it, except the fact it makes me question your intelligence. Also, it means that the second Paul McCartney would be a much better writer than the first. Late 60s Beatles are better than early 60s Beatles. It's pretty much a fact, confirmed by our expert team of scientists. Well, that was a pointless transition. I had fun, though. I had fun talking about this theory, too. It's the campy, over-the-top thing that only a bunch of college students in 1966 could believe. With the invention of the internet, there's no way that someone could fall for a stupid theory like this again.
Who am I kidding?
We haven't learned. But I sure did. We learned that Ringo Starr has a sexy nose and that Paul McCartney is real. Never forget today's lessons, and you will be gold for the rest of your life. Also, subscribe to my channel for more weird content. I try to upload at least every 2 weeks. Also, I wrote my own Beatles conspiracy to end the video on. One day, in the summer of '65, Ringo made a sandwich. It was a nice sandwich. He left it in the fridge to save it for lunchtime. But when he came back from his drumming session, it was gone. Naturally, he was very upset. He found that John had stolen it from him. His friend had betrayed him. Ringo and Harrison both agreed that stealing someone's sandwich was punishable by capital offense. So, they conked John on the head and put him in a time machine and sent him back to the prehistoric era. And replaced him with a double named Ron Lemon, and nobody has noticed until this day. Ringo even wrote the song Yellow Submarine to spite John. The end. Hey, it's just as believable as the last one.